焦全世界，带您探索这个世界。欢迎收看《极地长征》，聚焦阿拉斯加。我是舒梦兰。南极和北极是地球上最严峻酷寒的地区，冬天最低温可以到达-90度，并不适合人类居住。但是地理的两极和地磁的两极非常接近，因此在南北极的天空就会出现地球上最奇幻的景象，那就是极光。拍摄团队这次前进美国最北的疆土阿拉斯加，它也是美国面积最大的一州，有171万平方公里，是台湾的47倍，但多半都位在北极村之内，因此人口只有73万人。但是阿拉斯加因为天气晴朗，一年有2/3的日子都看得到极光，是全世界科学家研究极光的大本营，甚至还有火箭发射场。极光对人类有何重要性？节目一开始，我们就要带您揭开极光背后的宇宙秘密。古代传说，这是神的旨意，是灵界吹动的超自然风。现代科学认为是太阳对地球发射的巨量电子，只有在两极才能见到的幻化奇景，这是极光。12月，当第一道曙光升起，北方极地正迎接一天仅仅4小时的短暂白昼。Fairbanks， 阿拉斯加的第二大城，地处北纬65度，冬季严寒而漫长，平均气温是摄氏-30度。最冷的时候会到达-59度，一年之中有7个月都在下雪。冬日是一片银白世界，唯一流经的屈纳河也冻结。这是美国最寒冷、最严峻的城市。再过1个月，这里将成为永夜。但也正是天文迷朝圣的季节。坐落在荒野间，类似蒙古包的建筑，这是阿拉斯加独有的极光小屋。
Hey guys, welcome. So this is a 24-foot yurt that I built this summer. Is brand new. The roof has just a thin material that insulates from the cold, and then up there is a big window. We sometimes can see in the daylight the sun shines through the yurt.
Sven 来自瑞士，15年前搬到阿拉斯加，开始在冰天雪地大探险。去年9月，他和7个朋友花了3个月时间打造这个现代蒙古包。
I can't say it's not been good, or that you're to blame. I just
电力、暖气，甚至美食，小屋应有尽有，全为了等待极光。
The most difficult thing is the windows. We had the window frame be behind this. We had to insulate, make a frame to put all these rafters into perfect position. And behind this, we had to make sure that there's no air coming in, put this wood on there, and make it a nice distance between window from here to here, so the people get the most out of the view. Because this is, I call this the $1 million view.
极光是两极高空经常出现的瑰丽发光现象，和地球磁场与大气层有关。当太阳辐射出的高能量带电粒子接近地球时，会受到南北极的磁力影响，移向两极；而在通过地球大气层时，就会和氧气和氮气等原子发生碰撞，激发出灿烂的光焰，这就是极光。因此，大多数的极光都出现在北极和南极的天空中，而 Fairbanks 正好落在北纬65度到70度的极光环带，加上天气晴朗，天空纯净，一年高达246天都看得到极光，有北极光之都的美名。
When the northern lights are coming out, we turn off the lights in here, we make it dark, and then everybody goes and looks out at the aurora.
但为了捕捉极光跳跃天幕的美景，我们必须舍弃极光小屋的温暖，在零下30度低温的冰天雪地架起摄影器材。这一夜，天空薄云，极光露脸的机会大增。营业时刻，万籁俱寂的天空，微光乍现。在缩时摄影镜头下，山头上微弱的光雾迅速明亮起来，以绿色光芒为幕姿态，在暗夜里盘旋飞舞。因为地球的磁性，极光会以类似窗帘的波动或是弥漫式的扩展呈现，而极光的颜色取决于高空中的大气成分和能量。氧原子碰撞会辐射出绿光，最常出现，而氮分子激发后则出现红色光芒。随着高度更高，还会有蓝光，甚至紫光。极光的强度、形状和活跃程度每晚都不同。炫光飞舞的天幕，仿佛是大自然在向人类炫耀它无与伦比的风采。
It's just beautiful. It's kind of just like someone's painting the sky and then it just disappears and it's gone. So like it's once in a lifetime thing. Hopefully, you know, if you're lucky enough, you get to see it.
I have seen the aurora many times. Every time I see the aurora, I never get tired. The aurora is something that will touch you, that you will never forget.
上古时代，人类就发现了极光的存在。北美印第安人称它是舞动的精灵，中世纪的欧洲视它为神的符号。意大利知名的天文物理学家伽利略以罗马神话中的曙光女神 Aurora 为极光命名。直到1860年，科学家才真正知道极光的原理。但即使到了现代，极光依旧存在众多谜团。距离市区10分钟车程，坐落在学院丘上的白色建筑物，就是极光研究的大本营。
Hello, nice to meet you. You're welcome.
From Taiwan.
And I am Roger.
Roger Smith 博士，全球知名的极光科学家，主掌阿拉斯加大学地球物理研究所。他从1984年开始研究极光，足迹遍及南极和北极斯瓦尔巴群岛，到现在已经超过30年。
Aurora is first of all a very complex physical phenomenon, and we don't yet have full explanation for how everything happens. We know a lot about it, but we still cannot predict exactly what sort of aurora is going to happen. Tonight we can't predict that. And we might be able to say when it's going to happen, and we might be right about that. But exactly what type of forms will happen, exactly what time, and where those forms will be, and exactly what color mixtures, we can't tell that. That's still the subject of research. We don't understand all the factors that make the aurora different.
3, 2, 1.
This rocket is going to go up to about 600 miles above the Earth. And when it does that, it will fly just over the top of this aurora. So when you get over the top of the aurora, you can see the electrons and other particles coming down to make it.
阿拉斯加大学地球物理研究所监督管理的波克沼地发射场，是全球唯一一个由大学拥有的火箭发射场。借着发射火箭携带仪器到1000公里的高空，近距离研究极光。
And since 1969, we have launched 2,300 rockets.
6, 7, 8, 9.
极光蕴藏极大无比的能量，每出现15分钟的电能，相当于全世界1年的能量总耗。但人类至今还无法收集它。透过火箭观测，研究极光的产生和变化规律的同时，更是人类探索天外生命的另一项契机。
You've got to have an atmosphere and you've got to have a magnetic field, basically, to have an aurora. Mercury has a magnetic field, but its atmosphere is too thin. And then we come to Venus, and Venus has no magnetic field, so we don't see an aurora. Then we go out to Mars. Well, Mars has a very fragmentary magnetic field. It has an atmosphere, but we don't see very much aurora on Mars. It's very fleeting because the magnetic field is not strong. It's only strong in certain limited places. And then we get out to Jupiter. Jupiter has very strong magnetic field. It has very strong aurora too. And Saturn has very strong aurora. And there's one interest that might surprise you. Now, I told you that the aurora at Earth is dominated actually by emissions from oxygen. Now, oxygen is our connection to life. No oxygen in the atmosphere, no life, right? So when you're looking at another planet and you see the aurora with a telescope and it has oxygen lines in it, maybe there is life on that planet.
10000年前，这片北大荒的原住民，曾经像我们现在一样，仰望着天际，震慑于这流动光影的能量美。探索苍穹，由古到今，都是人类无法抑制的渴望。极光，这个美丽的谜团，有待科学家一一解开。或许有一天，人类终将发现，在这令人叹为观止的绿影光幕背后，宇宙的某一深处，也正有生命凝视着我们。科学家致力研究极光，人类也将更了解我们身处的太阳系。而还有一群人世世代代居住在天寒地冻的阿拉斯加，却是为了求生存而努力，那就是原住民爱斯基摩人。爱斯基摩人也称因努特人，因为爱斯基摩一词是北美印第安人取的，意思是吃生肉的人，带有歧视的意味。因此有些爱斯基摩人就会自称为因努特人，意思是真正的人。爱斯基摩人属于蒙古人种，全球大约有9万人，生活在北极圈，大约是在1万年前的冰河时期，从亚洲跨越白令海峡抵达美洲，以游牧狩猎为生。极地气候恶劣，环境严酷，爱斯基摩人必须抵抗零下几十度的严寒和暴风雪，才能生存下来，无疑是世界上最顽强的民族。 我们这一次试着遵循爱斯基摩人的生活方式，要体验人类在极地生存的坚韧力。